right. Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It was good to have the extra day, doing a little catch up and hanging out with some friends. So, all right. So markets look just fine to me. Right? Meaning I'm looking at the futures here and, they're down a little bit. And, I'm looking at the chart and just looks like bullish consolidation here within an uptrend. Doesn't look so much on the 60-minute chart, does it? that fast move down, so time frames that you're looking at give you different perceptions as to what's happening within that time frame. And what we do, of course, is use multiple time frames to put movements in a smaller time frame in perspective of the larger time frame. Now, from a day trading point of view, I could use this 60-minute chart as putting things in perspective on a 5-minute chart or even a 2-minute chart and to say, well, that's a big move down. It's at support. If it violates this low here, well, that could open up some movement to the downside, which I could then profit from if I shorted based on my plan of wherever I'm going to do it, however I'm going to do it. Now, looking at this 60-minute chart as it relates to what's happening here, well, even if this went down further, it wouldn't damage this uptrend and this move up. So far, this bullish type of angled consolidation, which sometimes is referred to as a bull flag, which by definition, the way I define it, and according to how what I would explain this in Master Trader technical strategies would be that we had a momentum move out of a base, right, after a little shakeout, which created a price void. Now, what happens after a price void is created? Well, a few months ago, right, those price voids resulted in retracements all the way back down. So that powerful move creates a void. Right? And here you can see it in the intraday time frame. And when that happens, there's little to no support to the left or reference points to lean on, in a sense, to trade against. They're minuscule compared to the topping pattern here. So while this displays power and suggests a continuation, right, one of the things I said last week is that it's the weakest link in the whole move because, yes, it's power. It suggests higher prices, but because of the void, it now has to create new support. And until proven otherwise, that's exactly what's happening here, is that this new high that resulted in a move down and then some chop back up. And now, of course, this is a new day that's starting off in a negative way. Well, it hasn't broken below the prior bar's low here, so it's still okay. So at this point, we have to assess what's happening. I think that's what we're doing here. And it's not ready yet to move higher. It could move lower, but it's not ready yet to move higher based on what we have here so far. What would produce an event that would make it ready to move higher? Well, what if it dipped down today and then this turned into a green bottoming tail bar? That would be an event saying if it cleared that high, it's ready to move higher. The other side of it is, well, what if it turned into a situation like we've seen earlier in the year and it went all the way back down here? Well, then the whole bias or view that everything's okay, it's going to move higher is over. Okay? Now it has to rebuild and repair the damage and start all over again. Now, we would measure the depth of retracement, meaning, well, if it came down here to this minor support level, that's not so bad, right? And so then we'd look for turnaround. But if it was to come all the way down here to this major support level, that's a problem, right? Obviously, because the depth of retracement was too far and the thought of getting beyond this point would be diminished from what it is right here. So at this moment in time, prices are just consolidating. They look just fine. We'll see where this ends and what happens, by the end of the day and where we're at. So far, this big move down, buyers have stepped up in the area of the prior low, and we'll see if they can get it to move back up again. So we may be in for some more, uneventful price action here where it's consolidating the gains. We'll see. Right? And Q's not even downward sloping. It's going sideways, which, if it breaks lower here, we've got a squared off top. There's overlapping opens and closes. Is this consolidation right here? So that if it did start to break down, that would be our next reference point where we would look buyers to step up again and see if it could turn around. Again, within this pattern, a bottoming tail bar would be a candle or event that would say buy it above that bar's high, looking for it to go higher. That type of corrective action within this powerful move would be a buy signal. Dow, kind of like the S&P, is a little bit different. It broke the low. It's shown some relative weakness. So far, just in consolidation mode, chopping around, waiting to see. So whatever it is that we're looking at, considering to trade, we start off with the broader markets. We look at this and say, is this something that I would want to trade right now? I think we'd all agree no. If we were already in it, we wouldn't be selling it. We might have taken some profits. Maybe not. Maybe just holding on with the expectation that it's going to continue to go higher, which is my expectation that it's going to continue to go higher until it shows me something that suggests that's not going to happen. So the chart is guiding me as to what my bias is and what I think is going to happen. So common sense, it's in an uptrend. It's making higher highs and higher lows. The depth of retracement hasn't been that deep to be a concern to me. There's been no significant breakout failures, upside shakeouts. So it makes no sense for me to have any kind of a bearish bias right now, other than to say it's chopping around and it's just not ready to go up again yet. Bonds are down. That's a good thing, because that means yields are going up, which should support financials, which are not up according to this, but they're down a little bit, I guess, with the market. But bond yields going up, bond prices going down is supportive of those, and they did break out last week. And while they pulled back here, buyers stepped up on Friday, and we'll see if this can begin to build up some support here after that breakout. Now, that move up in yields is not going to be kind, or shouldn't be kind, to utilities, which have been kind of chopping around here and holding up pretty well. So we've got this divergence as to what should happen. Now, I do know that there are utility stocks that took a hit last week on the movement in yields going up. So we'll see what happens here, whether, this should move down from here and financial stocks should improve. Oil buyers continue to step up here. This correction and this breakdown proved to be a breakdown failure, and the gap was bought, and oil just looks like it's going to continue to go higher, which makes me think, or creates the thought, why is United doing so well and moving up like this, and some of the other airlines doing well? That came back, but I mean, that nasty move down, some of them don't look anything like United. So they are coming back, and some are improving, but United, and I forget which other one, are making like new highs, which kind of, I guess something special is going on there, but they usually move together. So with oil moving up like that, theoretically, it should affect airline stocks. We shall see. And Delta, that was the other one. That's moving up, but United is the strongest. So, and gold back down, And, we just haven't had any interest in gold. But, one of the things I mentioned last week was, if the Fed was to come out, and they're not even suggesting that they're going to stop raising interest rates, but if they were to come out and say that they were going to hold off rather than consider raising them, then you'd probably have some reason to consider gold. But right now, it's trending down. It's had this retracement off of this low here, but we've just no interest there in these gold stocks at this moment. And like last week, everything was doing well. So a little profit taking here, but I mean, technology moved up to a new high. IBB moved up to a new high. It was showing some weakness, and the XBI is weaker than this. So there's some other stocks in here that are outperforming what's happening in the other ETF. And transports just consolidating their gain, and they're doing nothing here this morning. So far it's just a consolidation with an uptrend. The Russell made new highs. So everything's looking pretty darn good here to go higher until we see something to suggest that's not going to happen. There's the bias for the market, and we'll see what stocks produce. Dan and I have lists where we reviewed over the weekend, and we'll see where they go from here this morning and through the rest of the week. All yours, Dan.
Hey, good morning, folks.